This is the third round of a webinar series, and today's topic is medicine. Hello, my name is Eunjin Ha, MC today. The webinar series is initiated by Asia Connect Project, which is co-funded by European Union and 24 Asia Connect partners' contributions. Today's program consists of two sessions. We'll get information about the project in topic of medicine, and the second session will be followed by the panel discussions. Please leave your questions or messages on the chatting below, and the speakers will answer in the panel discussion session. Before we start the program, I would like to invite Mr. Louis Hyun Choi, the Executive Officer of Tenstar CC and the Project Manager of Asia Connect Project. Mr. Louis Hyun Choi, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, good afternoon in Asia and good morning in European region partners. I am Louis Hyun Choi, Executive Officer of Tenstar Cooperation Center. First of all, for today, I'd like to express my warm welcome to Angie, our steering committee chair. She will deliver two opening remarks for today's webinar. And Douglas Are from New Zealand, today's webinars and the moderator. Thank you. And just especially, he's a former vice chair, Asia Connect Steering Committee. Thank you again. And all speakers, just the honorable all speakers, Professor Seonmu Kang from Kyunghee University in Korea, and Dr. Dong-Soo Lee, and Professor Min Seok Seol from Seoul National University and Hospital, and Dr. Tomohiko Moriyama from Kyushu University Hospital. Thank you again. And for today, related members for their special efforts and support for make the successful today's webinar too. I also give my greetings to all the third webinar series today participants from our whole partner area, Asia, Oceania, and Europe, this meeting today. Thank you again too. We also know that the Asia Connect project has been continuously promoted since 2016, a very long time past it already. It is an international cooperation co-funded project with Europe and now in 24 Asian country bodies. It's very huge international collaborative project too. This has provided an excellent opportunity to further and deepen research and educational collaborations among current 24 partners and beyond over the world. So today we are make the collaboration with European region, America, and Latin America too. Just one globe. Just that we have to make the huge collaborative activity in the Asia Connect project too. Also, we are working through a task case specifically called Asia Connect Call for Proposal activities for our partners in Asia Connect bodies. Just today's topic, medicine. Just we called in the telemedicine, just a remote medical service and research, and provided some professor, doctors, and experts in hospital and university. We can get for support and services to our region too. It's also one of the main research areas too. Asia Connect corporate proposal activities will, how can I say that, expand the scope of supports for beneficiary countries by accommodating demands of beneficiary countries, enhance and strengthen their capability via new programs such as medicine. There's also Korea, Japan, and China. So just already some developed in the skills in field of the medicine field. Just recently, our many partners, they want to need more, get the skills and the know-how from our several developed countries too. And today's webinar need is very important too. I hope that this webinar will be supportable in introducing various content and medical technology using TANE. TANE is a network, we also know that. Additionally, I am sure that many researchers and students will be helpful in promoting TANE utilization and join the project, such as Asia Connect corporate proposal activities in the future. Finally, I strongly believe that Asia Connect power and supports and the resources partner and this community with your support and interest, we are unable to create a successful outcomes too. I think that. Okay, please stay healthy until we can meet in face-to-face meeting then. And today's meeting is unfortunately a remote and the virtual meeting then. So in the future, so we can make it some offline meeting, face-to-face meeting for today's, such as today's webinar meeting too. Thank you very much. So for all participants, enjoy today's webinar series. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Louis Choi. For opening remarks, I'm pleased to invite Ms. Ji An from SARNet, China. Ms. Ji An is the chair of Asia Connect Steering Committee and contributed to the development of Asia Connect community activities with her insight and great leadership. Ms. Ji An, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Angie, and thank you, Louis, for your very good opening remarks before me. So, dear distinguished guests, all online speakers and participants, good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to give this opening remarks here. This is a third webinar organized by TANSRCC for sharing the outcomes of the sub-granted projects of Asia Connect. But due to the pandemic situation, it's been very difficult for us to travel for some time. So the webinar has been an important way to exchange information and keep close collaborations with our partners. You may know the projects TAN2, TAN3, and TAN4, which were led and co-funded by European Commission and many other partners in Asia Pacific region, and all the other partners are also provide co-funding to this project as well and collaborating with each other in this project. So Asia Connect is a follow-up project of TAN4 and started in 2016. So we all know it has 24 partners in Asia Pacific. TANSRCC in Korea is responsible for the project coordination and management of TAN4 and Asia Connect. All 10 projects are extremely important for the establishment of the ENRIN's internet backbone between Europe and Asia Pacific. and also the international research activities. They are very unique for attracting so many government funding together into one big project, which is vital for benefiting the multinational collaborations among areas via the high performance networks. How to manage these big projects and how to make the project truly benefit the TAN community via TAN network, especially Asia Connect project, is really very challenging. So GÉANT, previously called DANTE, and now TANSRCC did a very good job for managing the huge works of coordination and operation. All project partners are also the project governors, which is governing the project. And the steering committee are nominated and selected by all governors and heavily involved in the process of the technical strategy and provide the advice and the call for proposal process. So please allow me to share some numbers which was mentioned by Luis several times at previous governors meetings. Asia Connect started in 2016, just now I mentioned, and TANSRCC organized 5 rounds of regular call for proposals and 1 targeted call for proposal to award many projects which provide capacity building programs, the projects of network technologies and testbed, and the collaborative internet application projects, and the programs which could help bridge the digital divide in the least developing countries. So in total, we have 458 submissions received and 95 projects awarded. So today's webinar is going to share some stories of some awarded projects in medical area. So I wish the webinar today a great success, and thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jian. She overviewed about the project, including governance, methodology of progress, and impact of the project in Asia Pacific region. Thank you all, Ms. Jian and Mr. Luis Hyunwoo Choi. Now let's open the first session. I would like to invite Mr. Douglas Hare, the session moderator of today's webinar series. He was the former deputy chair of Asia Connect Steering Committee and the governor of New Zealand. Now he is dedicating for the webinar series as a member of the TAN community. Mr. Douglas Hare, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the introduction. I will go straight to introducing our first speaker. I will say that we have 25 minutes for each speaker or speakers. So I will give you each 25 minutes and a bit of a wave if you are getting close to your time. And then obviously we will have our panel session at the end. So first of all, over to Professor Sunmoo Kang. His talk is on intelligent medical services over the TAN network. I would just like to say that I hope that all medical services are intelligent. So I'm sure every patient is hoping that when they go to see the doctor. So anyway, over to you. The floor is yours, and thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to share my screen. Let me see. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Okay, I will start my presentation today. Good afternoon and good morning. I'm Professor Sunmoo Kang of Kyung University. I will briefly look at we have done with the Asia Connect project for 2 years, from 2019 to 2020, and introduce our future work after project finished. Our project title was Achievement of Asia Connect Project and Future Works intelligent medical services over the 10. It was the work package 5. But this is the content of my presentation today. This is a brief description of our project. It was work package 5, promoting Asia Connect enabled research and education collaboration for societal benefit. Budget was 225,000 euro in 2 years, from May 2019 to December 2020. And there are 5 countries participated. Here is the list: Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, Vietnam, and Thailand. And we are handling some technology combined with ICT technology to the medical domain. This is the website. We posted all the outcomes. I think it's still working. Here are the participant countries and members in each country. At the center of this project, there is a platform called Intelligent Medical Platform. Intelligent Medical Platform, we use that for the service providing to the hospital, and also we use that for training and education, and also telemedicare services. And also we are deliver some services, some medical services using this platform. It is the detail of participants in each country, doctors from hospitals, and professors and researchers from computer science department, or active members. As you see here, U of M, the University of Malaya Hospital, and also SNU Hospital, Seoul National University Hospital, and Kyunghee University Hospital, and more Catholic hospitals and other participants. This is the architecture of the intelligent medical platform for providing intelligent medical services. We developed and used this for the project. It has different layers for data gathering and processing them with AI technologies, and service providing in different ways, depending on the interworking strategy with partners. Because we're handling the patient media medical data called EMR with different privacy policy, we need to consider many cases like software as a service, or platform as a service, or data as a service, even cuts commercial off-the-shelf service models. And also, we need to prepare well-functional decompositioning using cloud system operation. I think, okay. It's very sensitive. Okay, there are 5 working group activities. Working group 1 is for the education. Working group 2 is for the human resource exchange in summer school. Working group 3 is for the events of workshops and conferences, such as APAN meeting and others. Working group 4 is for the training with book. Working group 5 is for the Q&A and feedback for the evaluation of our work. There are two types of participants. One is the active members and the others are dissemination partners. As you see, there are many KHU alumni in many countries. We share our outcomes in different ways, like through SNS channels and websites. Here are some sites you can still access the project outcomes through these channels and websites. Following is our achievement. It shows the detail of our activities in different working groups according to the timeline in year 2019. There are different activities through this timeline. We have done workshop, also lecture series, and we open the summer schools inbound and outbound. And year 2020, we have done almost the same as the previous year. There are total 20 lectures during the time in spring and winter, total 4 sessions. All the activities, we got feedbacks from audience and participants as shown in here. During the APAN meetings, we held workshops. We got the feedback I already mentioned. Inbound summer school we held in Korea as a human resource exchange. And outbound one in Malaysia. Feedback we gathered. We published a textbook on Mining Minds book, we call it. And here is the book series in 2019 is about Wellness platform and foundation technologies. There are 5 topics: Mining Minds overview, data curation framework, context awareness engine, knowledge curation engine, and service curation engine. This is the overall feedback results for year 2019 activities. There are a total 8 activities, and we gathered and summarized the feedbacks in this page. A workshop we held in the APAN 49 meeting, and feedback was collected as usual. In WIZ World IT Show event year 2020, we held a presentation session on these topics. We had got AI Doctor inbound summer school in Korea year 2020. This shows the program. And the workshop in the APAN 50 meeting. At last, we developed a server system for providing the back pain service in Malaysia. We tried with 2 options since the medical data privacy. One is the code level integration, and the other is the API level integration. I will list down the benefit through this project. Benefit 1, grow together, prosper together, which is also the catchphrase of this project as well. All participating countries get training and education about the cutting-edge technologies. Using them, they can build their own silos in their medical environment. Benefit 2, maximum usage of TAIN infrastructure to share intelligent medical platform for medical service providing over cloud environment with SaaS, PaaS manner. Benefit 3, different stakeholders like academia, research community, and even industry can use the IMP functionality in different level of dependency according to their system configuration in their medical center. Benefit 4, some of the core intelligent medical platform technology transfer is done by training to the participant. Benefit 5, sharing the intelligent medical services through different working group outcomes and deliverables. Benefit 6, continuous information dissemination through different ways like websites, YouTube, SNS channels. Summary of the total benefits: grow together and prosper together. Now I will introduce our future works. First is platform expansion from the medical domain to the other domains to overcome the complex socio-economic issues from the first industrial revolution according to the UN's 17 SDGs and practically ESG action plans. Here is the famous movie from England, Daniel Blake's family suffering from the welfare system. We needed to prepare and be ready for the poor. That is the energy issue and has to be smarter with AI technologies. Next is the collaboration expansion. We have successfully done the Remind 1 in Horizon 2020 program, and now we are preparing for the Remind 2. I hope our outcomes can be connected into this next stage trial, and I hope the participant can be invited into this project. Industry involvement for business development is the next one. We are in the era of digital economy where industry innovation is essential. We need to cooperate to get prosperous together. UC ICT technology converged into different industry domains with the help of the Industry 4.0 platform, which can be provided by our IMP, Intelligent Medical Platform, down the road. Lastly, acknowledgement and suggestions. Asia Connect project gave us a good chance and opportunity for discovering nice partners and for providing our platform's adaptability, usefulness, and possibility. In addition to the acknowledgement, suggestions are following. 2 years project time is too short to do many things required. So we needed to find out anyway, and maybe a multiple step project system can be considered. The first step for basic research, the second step for industry involvement, and the third step for business development, depending on the achievements. The last suggestion is to enlarge the scope of Asia Connect project by working together with the other global scope projects such as Horizon, Eureka of EU, and also any others in different domains. Okay, that's all for me today. Thank you, and I appreciate your kind attention.
Very good, and you've kept well to time. As there is a little bit of time, I will ask one question myself now. It's very interesting to see a medical presentation from the last 2 years that did not mention the word COVID once. And so, of course, almost every presentation that we've seen at APAN and so on over the last 2 years obviously has had a COVID flavor. And yet in this presentation, I might have missed it, but I could not see the word COVID.
No.
So given how big the pandemic has been, during your time, the last 2 years of your program, were you thinking we should be doing something with COVID, or were you trying to keep away from COVID specifically?
Fortunately, we found a very good way to contact with and working together with. That was the online methodology. So we don't have any problems with doing some project together. That's why I didn't like to mention the COVID in my presentation. But we cannot meet face to face. That is the main disadvantage because of the COVID, I think. But we don't have any problems because of the online methodology, Zoom meeting and webinar.
Yes. I was thinking more about using the, your talk is about intelligent medical services. I see you had things on dementia and back pain and other things. Was there any application of your methodology applicable to COVID, or not really in this case?
Yeah, it can be applicable to the any kind of diseases, even any kind of industrial domains. We can apply our platforms. It can be adaptable to maybe support some artificial intelligence or intelligent functionalities to the business. I will bring that in the future. Thank you.
Very good. Well, maybe we can return to that in the panel session. So again, thank you very much for your talk.
Thank you.
And I will now hand over to the next two speakers who will be talking about nuclear medicine, a very interesting topic. So Dr. Dong-Soo Lee and Professor Min-Seok Seo, I will say welcome, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you.
I will close my sharing. Is it? How can I close? Is it already closed?
No, it's still showing on the screen.
Okay, thank you. Here.
Oh, no, good, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, I'm Dong-Soo Lee, and I'm going to introduce our project, the past progress and the current status, and also the ongoing the works. I'm going to share first 5 minutes of our presentation on behalf of myself and newly entitled the Professor Min-Seok Seo, the project co-leader of this project. This project was about how to expand the nuclear medicine practice with a good quality to Asian countries, especially for the next generation leaders in each country. So 2015, I got the information on the internet that what was the status of the nuclear medicine clinical ones and also the personal parts. And this cartogram on the left is showing the nuclear medicine procedures. We call it clinical volume. And you don't see any Asia here. It is very in much contrast to the USA. Or interestingly, CJK, China, Japan, and Korea, we did 2 million, 2 million, 1 million, and the Korea 1 million. Almost the three countries are doing almost all the nuclear medicine procedures at that time. And the right slide, a cartogram shows the number of nuclear medicine physicians, but we need, interestingly, for nuclear medicine experts, meaning the chemists and pharmacists or physicists, as well as physicians for the quality care. So our discipline is a little bit sophisticated. As a while ago, they considered the nuclear medicine is the toy or tool for rich persons or rich country. However, the nuclear medicine takes care brain vessel disease here and heart vessel disease, and also, of course, cancers and also the lung diseases. And among the sustainability goals, SDG 3.4 is about the non-communicable disease control. 3.3 is infectious disease control. We've gone through the strenuous attack by COVID-19 pandemic. We survived. However, even for the developing or emerging countries, these cancer, heart, brain, and lung diseases are really hurting and killing people. So a while ago, the WHO officer has put nuclear medicine, as I told you, in a tertiary, specialized hospital ones. However, we really want to make the nuclear medicine like here. That's the goal. And as the president in charge of the World Federation, 2019 and 2020, I could just see the current status of Middle East or Eastern Europe, have been to the South Africa, and also especially South America. So the situation seems to be worse than the Asia. So let me just confine my interest to the Asian region. This cartogram represents the population. Most of the people live in Asia, as is well known. And New Zealand has a very small parts.
We have a very small population.
Yeah. Here, the nuclear medicine physicians are located like this, and they are changing, and especially in the southeastern countries, numbers are increasing. So we need to pay attention to the next generation leaders. And that's the region here, population and number of physicians, and the European countries are giving a kind of the regression line here. All of the Asian countries are here. We need to just make it this. And what about the procedures here? Here area means the GDP of each country, GDP. And then as I told you, 2 million and 1 million. United States are doing the 20 million, and Europe as a whole, they are doing the 10 million, the clinical volumes. In Africa, none. And then South America, looks GDP-wise looks smaller, and they are doing the fewer clinical volumes than the Asian countries. So we need to make it better. And with a smaller number of physicians, we are doing almost the same. So the quality might be lower and the poorer. So that's the point. We started our the activity with Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Vietnam several years ago, and then moved on to include Thailand, Malaysia, and Myanmar. And then this year we are doing the Nepal and inclusion of Nepal and Mongolia. Philippines, the colleagues in the Philippines, they have joined as a lecturer. They did not receive many the benefits from this project. However, they joined. And 3 years ago, before the pandemic crisis, we could hold Theranostic World Congress, and we endeavored to invite Asian senior representatives here, and along with the European and American ones. That's world, and also their junior colleagues resided in their own country and institution and tried to connect, and it was hard. Now it has become better. Maybe due to our effort. Another is ironically due to COVID-19 pandemic. So they could not move. So they needed the online, or Zoom or the WebEx, that kind of communication tool, and we've been already familiar with. Okay, the activities can be summarized like this, and the details are going to be presented by my junior colleague, the now Professor Min-Seok Seo. He's been in Indonesia just several weeks ago, and he's doing my job. And there was a kind of a success story, the last slide of mine. When we just submitted our proposal, they required we need to just list affiliated entities. So I started to pay attention to our colleagues in Asia Connector, the TAIN, and Mr. Torrid and Professor Basuki and Ms. Nguyen. They helped us. And in case of the Vietnam, I have been there. And because of the shortage of the personnel, not everyone can come to even their own national meeting in Da Nang. So only half of the personnel can come together, and also the technicians and physicists and chemists, they need to just take care of their patients in their institution. So they were there at each institution. They have used the TAIN supported the video conferencing system, which they started to get familiar. And I was invited to the National Congress. I just give a lecture. And after all the seniors were with me, however, next generation were in their own institution. Thank you. And Professor Seo, please.
Okay, hello, can you hear me well?
Very
Yes,
good.
and really thank you for inviting me to such a great venue. And so today I would like to shortly introduce about our progress. So about consolidation of quality care and nuclear medicine using Asia Connect. And so these might be the contents. So briefly, so currently non-communicable diseases are diseases that are not spread through infections, not like COVID. But so although it has been the awareness has been weakened due to the COVID pandemics, but the non-communicable diseases are the leading cause of deaths worldwide, and particularly in low middle income countries. And the constitutes are, as you can see, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, chronic respiratory disease, and neurodegenerative disease. The problem is that these NCDs are projected to be increased by 15% from 2010 to 2020 recently, and with an estimated 10.4 million deaths, which is more than 70% of deaths in Southeast Asia. So there is a great burden of NCDs currently. Before going on, the nuclear medicine, I think, might not be that familiar to all the participants. The key, but just briefly, the key to nuclear medicine is that it uses a radioactive tracer. The main concept is to identify a target by using a tracer in vivo, like an in vivo GPS system. And to using it, we can diagnose or treat a patient. So we can target and have an image like that, and we can also treat in the same time. So there, in the NCDs, nuclear medicine has been used widely in like US, 8 million nuclear stress tests are performed, and nuclear medicine is a key diagnostic element of cardiovascular diseases. And as you can see, more recently, there is an increasing in neurodegenerative diseases, as you can see easily from the image that we can actually differentiate normal from the Alzheimer's disease patient, which can actually have a great impact in the change in the clinical management, about like 80%. The more importantly, the field has been exerted great influence by this new concept of diagnostics. So now, actually, it adopts the most basic concept of nuclear medicine, the radio tracer. So it evaluates the patient before treatment using a diagnostic radioisotope and selects the patient and with high tracer uptake, and it treats the patient using a therapeutic radioisotope. So currently, neuroendocrine patient and prostate cancer patients are really getting a benefit from this new therapeutics. And we are now so in the era of seeing is actually treating. But so as you have seen, the key characteristics of nuclear medicine, as easily just you can see from the key words from the journals from 2010 compared to currently, there is a significant change in the keywords. So the characteristic is there is a rapid change evolution in nuclear medicine department. However, as you have seen from previous present from Professor Dong-Soo Lee, there is several problems are faced in, especially for the Asian nuclear medicine societies. So as shown in blue figure, Asian society countries lack the number of nuclear medicine physicians and scientists compared to the total population. And as this exaggerated catagram shows that the volume of the nuclear medicine practices are really small in the Asian countries, which will have an which will lead to a lack of experience. So due to nature of nuclear medicine of like this rapid change, lack of infrastructure and experience may lead to a vicious cycle of missing and shrinkage of opportunities to introduce new clinical practices. So the way we can actually solve this is to have a education is essential to stop this vicious cycle. So our core value of this project is to reduce the gap and leave no Asian country behind. So as to achieve our goals, we have conducted a project named Enhancement of Nuclear Medicine Performance using Asia Connect in Asian countries under the support of Asia Connect second call from 2018 to 2020. And from the project, we have initiated the partnership with 3 countries, as you have seen before, and established the platform for online education of nuclear medicine. So, and then from 2020 to 2021, we have extended the project to Malaysia, Thailand, and Myanmar. Using the established platform, we have performed online workshops, and by accumulating a considerable amount of educational materials, we made continuous reviewing and re-education possible. So based on these 2 previous projects, we are now conducting the 3rd project named Consolidation of Quality Care Nuclear Medicine using Asia Connect in Asian countries. And the main objective of our project is to consolidation of pre-established online education environment and further expansion of connectivity to institutions and hospitals in Asia. So to consolidate this online education environment, we have supported the video conferencing system, and until now, we have connected 8 countries of 64 centers of 8 countries. And with this project, we will actually connect 20 more centers. And as you can see, like in Indonesia, they are really separated by the islands, and we are supporting their connections via these educational online video conferencing systems. So, and after establishing this platform, we need educational contents, and to regularly get the contents. So we started this kind of lecture series. So from 2012, like regular university course, we have conducted 10 lecture series every semester and every week. And so average of 50 attendees from 10 countries have participated in this lecture series. And from here, we have invited more than 20 experts have delivered the lecture by this lecture series. So these are this is some composition of the lecture series scheduled to be implanted this year and which has been already conducted. And we are actually doing some experiments from this project currently this year. Like, as you can see, previously, most of the lectures were constituted by the experts from Korea and nearby us. However, we are now constituting a lecture series which is provided by the local experts. So the purpose is to actually promote not only the Korean experts, but also local experts in each country. And from the sessions, we are also like the session like thyroid cancer in experience from Asian countries. What we are doing is to share some troublesome cases from each country, and which we can have our own discussions about opinions, how to deal with some troublesome cases and patients. So while these lecture series mainly dealt with clinical practice of nuclear medicine, we need some intensive education in nuclear medicine science. So we have implemented this 10 workshop, which is done during summer and winter vacation. And so far, we have conducted 7 workshops, and with an average of 100 attendees for each workshop from 10 countries. And we have, through this project, as we told previously, we have further expanded this project to Nepal, Mongolia, and Philippines have joined our project. So through the previous activities introduced above, we have conducted online education through lecture series and workshop to like more than 160 beneficiaries, participants in 10 countries. So up to now, more than 30,000 views were recorded by uploading to more than 200 educational contents to the webpage. and 112.5 educational contents were uploaded to the YouTube. So it actually recorded more than 8,000 views, indicating that this educational platform is also effective for the re-education, and the related performance, as you can see, is growing every year. More important thing is that since we have now established a platform and gathered nuclear medicine physicians, it is easy to collaborate with various organizations and educational institutes. For example, a regional training course implemented by the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, was held in Yogyakarta, Indonesia in October of this year. And it was also not only open to our project participants, TANE project participants as a result. So more than 30 people could listen to the expert training online. Even those in Indonesia who couldn't attend the meeting offline could have access to this lecture. And we are also collaborating with more like COICA and Malaysian Nuclear Medicine annual conferences had also given a plenary lecture via the TANE colleagues. And as you have seen previously, we have held a Theranostic World Congress, which was also have online broadcast via the TANE project. So lastly, I want to emphasize that we plan to continue promoting local experts through the current project. And we think that this will create a trickle-down effect that leads to next generation leaders, and also to the whole society of nuclear medicine, and actually the health of each country. And since we have already created a platform and secured valuable subscribers, which is the Asian nuclear medicine physicians and scientists, we actually may create a sustainable education system through collaboration with other organizations such as IAEA and like KSN, Korean Nuclear Medicine Society, and European Association of Nuclear Medicine. Actually, there was a need of this European Association of Nuclear Medicine. They want to provide a lecture regarding the theranostics because they are leading the theranostics and they want to expand their collaborations and market and have a dominance. So there is a need from, so they have a need from these collaborations so they can provide experts, and actually we can provide the platform. So I think we have a sustainability. And so lastly, we would like to thank all the co-organizers who are involved in this project, and in particular, TANECC and European Union for their support of this project. Thank you very much.
Very good. Now you finished early, so even better. So thank you very much for that. There was one question that you might be able to answer that came in during your talk. If you could just answer it now. Rajan from Nepal. There are some hospitals or a hospital in Nepal in your project. He was asking if other hospitals want to join, are they still able to do that, or is that something really that they cannot do at this point?
Well, actually, if they are connected, we can provide the lecture series, and it is actually easily accessible. And because we have made an online platform. So I think, but we are actually dedicated to the nuclear medicine. So if there is a demand of nuclear medicine education, we all welcome all the participants.
Very good. So we will get Rajan's contact details and make sure that you are connecting. So that's great to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so very interesting to hear about your remote teaching and the way that you are delivering these courses around across Southeast Asia. That is a very nice segue into our final speaker this evening. Dr. Tomohiko Moriyama from TEMDEC is a well-known person at APAN and in our community. So he will be talking about telemedicine. So Dr. Tomohiko, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Okay, Douglas, thank you for introduction. And before starting my presentation, I'd like to show my CC appreciation to the chair, Douglas, and also people in 10CC. It's my great honor to make a presentation in this great webinar. So I would like to share my presentation slide a bit. Okay. Okay, hello everyone. This is Dr. Tomohiko Moriyama from Temdai Kyushu University Hospital. Actually, I myself is endoscopist. So the Korean guys have mentioned about the importance of nuclear medicine. So I myself would like to talk from the viewpoint of endoscopy, mainly, right? Okay, those guys mentioned NCD is now very big issue in the world. As you can see, more than 41 million people killed by non-communicable diseases, NCDs, which is equivalent to 71% of all deaths in the world. So it is very important to think how to tackle with this NCD. And in this field, there is a surely heterogeneity in the world like this. Like, as you can see, in the developed country, that many NCD-related mortality ratio in youngers is very low. But in developing countries, the ratio is very high like this. Many people still die due to the NCD. And most of the NCD is a cardiovascular disease, CVD. But this disease can be preventable by the diet or life habit or something like that. But second cause of NCD, cancer, we can't prevent this disease because this is a kind of aging disease. And as you know, Asian countries is now moving to hyper-aging society. So especially in Asian countries, it is very important to think the measures against NCD. Okay, going back to my talk about an endoscopy. So actually, in my field, dramatic change was happening around 2000. The innovative diagnostic endoscopy was developed, like an imaging enhanced endoscopy or endoscopic submucosal dissection. And in surgical field, before that, the open surgery is quite popular. But at that time, most of the operation for the GI cancer was moved to laparoscopic surgery like this. So many doctors would like to learn these new technologies. So visiting hospital and learn from experts directly should be the most useful. But there are some issues. We need time to learn from experts directly. But most of the doctors are quite busy. So it's very limited. We have an only limited chance to learn from experts, especially in abroad. And also we should pay some cost, travel expenses, accommodation fees. It's a very big issue. So very limited number of people have a chance to go abroad and come to us. Sorry. At that time, many doctors think that remote medical education should be very useful to share the knowledge and experience of new technology. But at that time, we only have an immature internet. So we only get a poor image. Also, we had a satellite, but it's quite expensive to use a daily clinical practice. So there's no idea what should we do for sharing our knowledge at the time. But big revolution happened in 2002 when the FIFA World Cup, Korea and Japan was held. Fortunately, big internet was installed between Korea and Japan to broadcast these big games. So Kyushu University was assigned to be a hub of Japan side. So we started telemedicine activity connecting Korea and Japan like this. In 2003, we held the first internet live demonstration connecting Kyushu University and National Cancer Center in Korea to broadcast laparoscopic surgery for gastric cancer. Okay, using the APA networks, we have held many teleconferences connecting many Asian countries, and also not only in Asia but also other countries like Latin, Russia, Europe, US, or something like that. This is a webinar. Through the webinar, we can learn the latest knowledge and experience from experts. In medical field, clinical case discussion is also quite important. The many participants can learn the strategy of diagnosis and treatment through the comments of participants. And in medical field, also medical technique is quite important, like in a surgery or endoscopy. So usually the many foreign faculties should get together at one venue and show their technique to the Congress venue like this. But we organize remote live demonstration like this. The experts can show their amazing and miracle technique from their own hospital to the venue. It's quite comfortable for the experts and also for the organizers. But there are some issues at the time. Most of the universities were connected by research and education network. So the internet situation is quite good. It's stable, and also the bandwidth is very broad. And most of the people satisfy satisfy the technical environment in each university. But hospitals are not actually sometimes academic institutes, so that they only have an on-demand network. So the situation is quite different among hospitals, but for effective medical education, high quality images is essential. And sometimes, no, not sometimes, but usually there is no chance for doctors and engineers to know each other, even working in the same hospital. At that time, most of the doctors are not familiar with telemedicine. Of course, they don't know about its quality and also its usefulness. And engineers working for hospital is not so interested in the telemedicine, because telemedicine is not their duty. And of course, they don't have any chance to know doctors' needs. Sorry. And at that time, this is the poor domestic expansion was our very big issue. We already have connected 48 countries at that time, but more than half of the countries, 3 or less hospitals are connected. So we hope to have more hospitals in each country for our telemedicine. Sorry. And this is a programs in 2016, around 2015. Actually, former director of our center, Dr. Shimizu, is a surgeon, and I myself the endoscopist, so that most of the programs are GI. So we would like, we hoped to expand the field of programs. At that situation, fortunately, we got the support from Asia Connect. So we conduct strategy. One, motivate doctors. Second, educate hospital engineers. Third, to be being a matchmaker. And last, we should create a tailor-made programs. To achieve this strategy, we organized 6 programs. First, on-the-job training at APA Medical Working Group for engineers. Train the trainers at our center for engineers. And invitation of doctors, inviting doctors to our hospital for to find the needs, and visiting hospital to set up the system. And we hold Asia Telemedicine Symposium to share the knowledge and experience on telemedicine. And the last, for domestic expansion, we have conducted many domestic telemedicine workshops in various countries. This is on-the-job training at APAM. Like this, from APAM 41, we have invited many hospital engineers and doctors who are interested in telemedicine to have the on-the-job training. APAN is a very good place to have this kind of training because we organize more than 10 programs in 1 week APAN meetings. This is an example. The number of invitees from Asian countries to APAN on-the-job training. For the 3 time APAN meetings, we have invited more than 50 people to the venue. And also, we have conducted Train the Trainer program at our center. The invitees from Asian countries will be able can get the lectures from our experts and also do a hands-on training. And they can got to know how to connect the endoscopic tower or surgery system to the teleconference system. So we have fostered the leaders in each country. And also we have invited many doctors from mainly from Asian countries. They can do endoscopic training here, and also they can watch the surgery and other medical procedures. So we conducted this training to find the clinical needs for sustainable telemedicine. Once they go back to their own hospital, they are assigned to be a leader of telemedicine activity in each hospital. Parallelly, we have visited many hospitals to know the needs and also the situation of each country and hospital. The needs is totally different among hospitals and countries. So we can, through this visiting, we can tailor-make the programs. And Asia Telemedicine Symposium is also quite useful to share the knowledge and experience on telemedicine in each country. We have invited many people from foreign countries, and the participants present their telemedicine activities there. And also, we can bridge the gap between doctors and engineers through this symposium. And this is a domestic workshop. We create the opportunity to meet for doctors and engineers to share the knowledge and experience on telemedicine. We have organized this domestic workshop in Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Nepal, Myanmar, Kyrgyzstan, Bhutan, and something like that. And amazingly, and after I'd like to show the example about the Indonesian guys. After the first Indonesian telemedicine workshop, just after 3 months after, they just started the telemedicine monthly telemedicine activities on endoscopy to share their knowledge. Okay, I will show the outcome of the Asia Connect support. This is just a part of the results. This is a total number by 2070. Invited trainees are more than 300, and the teleconferences were held more than 250 times. And as you can see, so many new sites were joined to our teleconference. Like this, around 2016, the cumulative number of programs is dramatically increased in Asian countries like this. And our special interest group is expanded to around 40 like this. Of course, the main content is endoscopy, but like in the cardiology or hepatopancreatibiliary surgery or ophthalmology or something like that. And like this, our contents is varied to the various programs like this. Comparatively, endoscopy and the surgery ratio is shrinking, but like now we have we have many programs: urology, medical informatics, oriental medicine, cardiology, dentistry, fetus, or something like that. And so far, we have organized more than 1,600 events with 1,300 institutions in 82 countries. So the built up human networks through this activity is quite precious, even in COVID-19 pandemic. Just after the pandemic, into early 2020, we have organized international teleconference on COVID-19. At that time, there is only very limited information for these new diseases, so that the many doctors would like to know what happened in Asian countries, how to prevent medical staff from these new diseases. So we inviting many institutions from Asian countries. We have had a fruitful discussion and share our knowledge and experience about this new disease. And totally more than 4,000 people watched and learned from us. And through this pandemic, many countries have started their telemedicine activities. So and also the internet situation was dramatically improved in those countries. So we have conducted many teleconferences with Bhutan, Myanmar, Central Asian and countries and the Caucasus countries like this. And of course, the teleconference system was dramatically improved through this pandemic. Before the pandemic, we should prepare the many engineers and the complicated system to do a live demonstration. But now we can do the same activities using one PC with one doctor or engineer who are familiar with ICT. So yes, telemedicine is now for everybody. About 20 years ago, the big internet is needed, so only limited sites can join our activities. But now the system is quite user-friendly and the network is smaller, it's good enough. Smaller network is good enough to join us. So participants. The number of participants is dramatically increased like that. Most of the people now join from using their own PC or from own hospital or from their home. And new attempt have just started to use it the new attempt of telemedicine have just started like this. This is a report from US. The usually live demo will be done from experts to attendees, but this is a live demo from novice to expert. This is just a remote education about endoscopy technique. Similar challenges was started in Japan. Our hospital, Kyushu University Hospital, got instruction from the experts in Hokkaido, more 1,400 kilometers away from our city, using the very good stable internet. The operator gets some annotation from doctor in Hokkaido. And also regarding medical education is moving to the new era. Maybe a very near future, XR and metaverse will be installed in our medical education. Sorry. Okay, this is a maybe. So our collaboration, that means among the doctors, engineers, and a research and education network is essential for our future telemedicine. Our collaboration, I believe our collaboration can reduce the medical inequality in the world. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Very good. And thank you very much for your wide-ranging talk and many interesting things happening. So now is the time for a panel discussion. I would ask anybody who wants to send in some questions, they can do so via the Q&A. And also I will say to Angie or others who are sitting here very quiet, if they would like, maybe they have some questions also. If you would like to add in a question, then please feel free to do so. I'll just start with you on the telemedicine subject. Just first of all, as you've just finished speaking, you showed a map of the countries where you have been running sessions, but I saw in our region, or in the Southeast Asian region, there was one country where you have not been doing those courses, and that's Laos. You had a map there, and every country was colored in, but Laos not. And I see Cambodia also has only had one session. So firstly, I've got two questions. One is why is Laos not involved, given that it's one of the poorest countries? And second then is what can we be doing then to help countries like Laos or Cambodia?
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, still we don't have any doctors or engineers who are interested, involved in our telemedicine so far, unfortunately. Actually, our telemedicine, we developed our telemedicine activities by the combination of invitation program and telemedicine, just a one set, I think. Because without no human relationship, it's very difficult to keep our telemedicine. So usually we invite one doctor or engineer from countries and make champions, like Korean doctor says. Making champion in domestic, in each country is quite important for trickle down, right? So
yes.
We still not have any good people who can be the leader in telemedicine field in that country. So that if someone, of course you guys introduce to us, we are more than happy to invite them to our hospital and have shared knowledge and also educate about the telemedicine. And once they go back, we can start telemedicine. So so we would like to have people from Cambodia and Laos.
Maybe Lewis, I'm going to speak to you, Lewis. Lewis, maybe this is something where Asia Connect or Tainstar CC could hopefully assist, because obviously if we're trying to help the beneficiary countries, then supporting TIMDEC's work in those two countries in particular would be very important. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, thank you, Douglas. Just this good idea too. So in Asia Connect project, so just our main goal, our main purpose is supporting to our beneficiary countries. So many technology, such as in the telemedicine content included too. So many related organizations such as hospital is a very major partner, I think so, to that. And so in the furthermore, so Asia Connect, so just every day increasing for strengths and needs from our Indian body. And so just we have to finding some solution to make the huge collaborative activities in this kind of activities too. Yeah, so just we are discussing and we are searching for the next solution for solving this problem and this kind of the issue 10. And so just a question and slightly include my comment. And so in field of the telemedicine field is very important technology in the lives of the human face. And so we know that the need for telemedicine is increasing day by day. So especially we have very terrible time in pandemic area. And so particularly, I think that the importance of non-face-to-face service, medical service in hospital. So just in the increasing after pandemic, just many people, they want to non-face-to-face telemedical services from medical doctors in hospital. But many people, they want to get information, very huge and very critical information from doctor in themselves in home. So they want to that. And so, but I know that it's a variety difference from country to country. Just depend on related and medical law. Medical law is very important. So just on this webinar seminar, many medical doctors joined. So just I want to get the opinion from speakers, just how can we solve this problem? And so what's the insight in the future for solving this problem? Just but depend on the medical law in nation and nation. Just a very critical and sensitive issue. But so inside of the doctor's side, just what do you think about how to solve this problem in near future?
So you're asking about telemedicine into the home rather than telemedicine between doctors. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
All right. So do we have any of the people on the seminar or the webinar would like to say something about that aspect of medical care? Dr. Dong Soo Lee, do you have an opinion on something like that? That's a slightly different topic to nuclear medicine, but what's your view on doing remote doctor to patient care?
As one of the chairman of the committee for Korean Medical Association since 2000, I would just gently say that the telemedicine between doctor and home, patient at home, is going to violate the first statement of Hippocrates Oath. We have the risk to do harm to the patient in the amount. Not actually, there are two risks. One is not detecting anything from the patients. They're really important, and not saying anything. I mean giving the wrong remedy or treatment, or giving no treatment for proper. So that needs time. This is because this opinion is because I was an internal medicine physician turned into nuclear medicine 1. So it's kind of the common feeling or common the worry of the actually doctors. So the industry is pushing forward to take profits from this kind of new the opportunity. So that's another point. So combining those two, I don't think within the near future, in my lifetime, I don't expect that we'd see very efficient and proficient the doctor-patient relationship on the internet. So that's my kind of a bias.
That's very
has a different opinion. Might have different opinion.
That's a very interesting perspective. Dr. Tomohiko, given you're a TEMDEC man, what's your counter
Yes,
to that?
right. As Reksha mentioned, we always think about legal issues about remote patient care, international remote patient care. So, but we can make a second opinion for the diagnosis in each country. So actually before the pandemic, like Korea, we have many foreign patients to have a good medicine in Japan and also in Korea, same in Korea. But now most of those activities stopped due to the pandemic. But now we can make some second opinion to take care of those patients. And once they need to come to us, I suppose our government accept those patients. So that's why this kind of second opinion, like doctor to doctor with patient or doctor to patient with doctor is available maybe. So this is one solution for this kind of issue maybe.
It's very interesting to hear those two sides. I mean, if I speak about New Zealand for one moment and maybe countries like Australia and Canada, where we have often, like in the case of New Zealand, a small population, we have a lot of people, maybe it's a 1 hour or 2 hour drive to see a doctor. In Australia or Canada, much greater, I'm sure, even in China, with your large country like China. So I know that I was in Canada a few years ago and I saw a demonstration of a remote diagnosis being done over a very high quality connection. And the person had a camera and they were putting the camera onto something on their skin. It was like a 4K camera. They had a very good internet connection. And then the doctor, who was like 1,000 kilometers away, was giving some initial diagnosis. I think maybe, recommending that this person needed to go to a proper doctor. So I fully understand what you're saying about the Hippocratic Oath. I guess also, but it's very attractive for countries where you have big distances and a small number of doctors, unlike possibly Korea or possibly Japan to some extent. You can see, I'm sure you know, it will be very attractive. Angie, in China, do you know any, or have you had any background in the work that you've been doing with CERNET about things like remote diagnosis in rural China? Is that an issue or not really?
Thank you, Douglas. Actually, yeah, it's an issue. Actually, I noticed Tomohiko-san, he mentioned at least 2 hospitals from China joined the TEMDAC activities before. Actually, yes. And also for those hospitals in China and the relationship with CERNET, most hospitals are not CERNET members. So, but for some hospitals which belong to the universities, they connected to CERNET. So because CERNET, we are the research and education network. So that's something is still challenging for us to get to the hospitals who are using the commercial network, but not using the ARIAN networks. And another issue for the Douglas mentioned just now is the remote diagnose process. Actually, I think they see something also related to the question from Rajan, the financial issues. So they need, the government need to put a lot of, the government support to set up the systems, the connectivity of internet, and also the facilities. So it needs a lot of investment in helping people to get this kind of, a remote diagnose by the remote doctors. So it's still very challenging in China, I may say.
Yes, I think Professor Lee's comments are very interesting, and I think this is maybe an example of where technology, is going very rapidly. As Tomohiko-san said, 20 years ago, it was very difficult to get a decent enough connection. Today, everybody has got a decent enough connection. Here in my apartment, I've got a very fast connection. I can probably faster than what the whole of Kyushu University had 20 years ago, and we're all in that similar situation. So I guess this is where the Hippocratic Oath, which has lasted for 2,000 years, and the speed of technology, they're slightly, it's very attractive, I would imagine, for some doctors to be able to try and use that. So it's a very interesting point. Dr. Kang, just going back to you for a moment, do you think there's, is from your perspective, the work that you've been doing, with intelligent medical systems, how does that address any of the discussion that we're having at the moment about?
Yeah, I have different ideas because, as you know already, the COVID pandemic was very severe, and we cannot take care of the older patient in hospital. So some countries, like Korea as well, we applied this telemedical diagnosis at this time. And I'm expecting this kind of pandemics are coming several times in the future. So as far as I know, we have to use any kind of telemedical things. When I visited United States, I tested the COVID diagnosis with video observation. It was kind of telemedicine or telediagnosis. It was working well. And I show my testing result to the government. That was okay. So it means the telemedical diagnosis are working very well. So technology is already there. And if we can handle the patient in the hospital, all of them in the hospital, then don't worry about telemedical things, but we cannot do that in pandemic era. So I can expect some kind of methodologies adapt that kind of diagnosis and treatment in the future, I believe.
I'm sure we're in for an interesting ethical time ahead of us, possibly. Professor Lee, is there anything you would like to say at the end of this section of the conversation, just to come back to you?
Okay, so somehow I would just kind of seem to be a conservative extreme of this. But my question is, my just suggestion is, let me just take an example. And 14 years ago, I opened the course for pre-medical students, and it dealt with the new technologies for medicine, future medicine. It included the handheld ultrasound for every physician. This is not the physician, the patient at home situation. It is just kind of radiologists are doing their own the imaging, but every physician might have, without a stethoscope, they need just a kind of ultrasound to find out what's in. It might be the tumor, or it might be the fluid, or that kind of things. I was enthusiastic to find out the General Electric has promoted the handheld ultrasound, and I borrowed and I showed to the students. After 14 years, now I find the quality of handheld ultrasound cannot catch up with the advanced endoscopy. So it means that for endoscopy, patients should come to Professor Tomiko to show his or her own the inside. So that's kind of a risk-benefit assessment. Should they follow this kind of the situation to situation difference? So you asked me, I just interpreted that your question is about the doctor patient at home, just like yes. The health promotion issues. Health promotion issues or the kind of lifestyle management can be done by the doctor's colleagues, meaning the dietitian or technologist and the medical personnel, including the telemedical diagnosis. This is not actually, in my opinion, it's not the narrow medicine. That narrow medicine should just happen. Just like Korea, we have so many doctors, and we have a very good traffic. I mean the transportation. So everyone can just kind of come to the experienced the physician or surgeon immediately, almost immediately, by the help of the 911 ambulance or the emergency. So it's kind of how to distribute those kind of new technologies, the suiting or the fitting the needs of the patients, the kind of next thing. So in my opinion, the saying these kind of things, I have a question to Dr. Professor Domenico. I just actually 20 years ago, no, 17 years ago, when I first saw the Professor Shimizu's activity by the help of the TANE, previously TANE, and my colleague, Dr. Han, Ho-Sung Han, was a good colleague of Professor Shimizu. So I was really surprised, and I just envied, and I tried to follow. And the 2018, we could just kind of land we could just kind of take the bandwagon with our nuclear medicine issues. But in case of nuclear medicine, the quality care, in case of Laos, there is no nuclear medicine physician. In Cambodia, only 2 nuclear medicine physicians. who are quite heavily supported by IAEA. IAEA is taking care of only those two people in one hospital, how to get the seed in the Cambodia. So, my question is, after all the surgeons or endoscopists in the world, if they are sufficiently trained to do advanced endoscopy, then what's the next step? So after Laos and Cambodia, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, even Caucasian countries, then what might be the next step?
Oh, very difficult question. Thank you. But as you know, the medicine is always improving day by day. So then I believe that some new equipment will be installed in our daily practice and also for medical research or something like that. So at that time, I suppose the needs will arise from doctors. So we can solve this or help to follow those doctors by telemedicine or something. So, but still we don't have any idea what we should do next. But anyway, there should be a need from doctors always, because one new technologies and many would like to know what we should do and how to do. So this is always this kind of scheme is always present maybe. So that's why the telemedicine can be the solution of this name to disseminate the new technologies. Right?
Yeah, so I agree with you that if there can be the kind of educated or the grown, the champion for that country, those trained doctors or the physicians or surgeons are going older, and there is no the platform for the education of the next generation. So the Kyushu University is permanently, forever, needed to teach the next generation. But my question was actually the insinuated thing that why don't you think about the capsular endoscopy? The patients just swallow and go home, and then they are generating so many the data, and which should be sent to the hospital, to the doctors, and then they need. So I think based on my kind of experience to teach new technologies for patients, handheld ultrasound was failure, but the capsular endoscopy, is it going to be a breakthrough for the next 10 years or?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, capsular endoscopy is already installed in clinical practice, especially in intestine. For small intestine, capsular endoscopy is good enough to check the status of small intestine. But regarding the stomach, very large, because in the stomach, it's very dark, no light, usually. So to watch the whole stomach, we should need a very strong light. But for the capsular endoscopy, don't have enough power. So of course, the images of capsular endoscopy will be sent to the capture one attached to the body and taking many photos during the procedure. And once after procedure, we can read all the images. So I suppose this procedure can be done remotely, maybe. But once some abnormality is present, we should check by endoscopy, enteroscopy or colonoscopy or gastroscopy or something. This is a big issue. Still, this kind of conservative procedure is a gold standard, so that still this kind of new technology is a big, is always, we think, big issue. How to use for these devices for telemedicine.
I think we only have 5 minutes left, so I think that's a good point where you two can, or others can, have a discussion yourselves next time you're meeting face to face. I've just got one last question really for Professor Min Suk Soo. one of the questions or points that you were making during your talk was about getting, and I think you were making, both of you were making this comment during your conversation about nuclear medicine, about getting trained people, younger people to go. And when I was doing a bit of reading about nuclear medicine before this webinar tonight, I was reading about the state of nuclear medicine in Africa and in Nigeria in particular. And in Nigeria and in some other countries I read about, and you have mentioned it today, how do we get younger people to choose this particular branch of medicine as a career? So that's my question to one or both of you. I know that's not an easy question to answer, but it was just interesting for me that a number of countries said that this was a problem. So I presume it's a problem in the rest of Asia as well as Africa and other places. So is there a, not an easy answer, but is there an answer?
So
Either one of
Professor
you can
Saul,
answer.
do you catch the, actually, I might be the one who can answer the question.
Okay, thank you.
So Professor Saul commented about the collaboration of the other international organizations' efforts with TAIN-CC or TAIN or Asia Connect project. So actually, several years ago, when still the Professor Saul was away, there was visiting fellow from Nigeria. He was heavily supported by International Atomic Energy Agency to organize, to see in Nigeria, and he became the nuclear medicine physician who was trained in South Africa. And I met him on the floor of IAEA meeting, and he shyly asked me if he can be a kind of visiting fellow in my institution. It's kind of the usual way is to just to go to the European country or United States, and his cousins or the relatives are living in New York. He told me there, but he thinks that in case of nuclear medicine, he envied two countries, just like my envy for the Professor Shimizu. He envied two countries. One is Myanmar. Myanmar had been the nuclear medicine. No, what I'm saying is just the nuclear medicine. They started the nuclear medicine in 60s. During the democratic government, it just prospered. Now it's under kind of a little bit of the surface now. And Korea. South Korea, in case of South Korea, we just started our discipline just in 1996, meaning 26 years ago. Before 1996, nuclear medicine was invisible. When we just attended American or the European meeting, we were transparent or we were invisible persons. They did not know where South Korea is. Just you mentioned about the Nigeria. Nigeria has 2,000 million people. They need the kind of care for nuclear medicine. If not, even the curable thyroid cancer patients should fly to Ghana or fly to the European countries. So that's a kind of a tragedy. So what I can say is just to that kind of collaboration. If some project is associated with the IAEA support or WHO support, then the TAIN project or Asia Connect project is going to prosper. Okay, that's my suggestion.
Sorry, I actually had misunderstand, but I don't think about where to select is important or like, but the most important thing here in nuclear medicine is I think we have made a So making a platform, if there is a platform, there are many experts all around, not only in Korea and every Europe and countries. So if we make this kind of platform, we can actually provide any kind of lectures worldwide. So I think that's the importance of making this kind of network, educational network.
So
Well,
I
that-
tried, sorry, I tried to just convey that kind of idea, just said by Professor to South Korean colleagues, and they started to learn Ubuntu or the African, the networks, how to just kind of adapt our success, our kind of a tentative success to their country. But there are still kind of still insufficient coordination between the networks and medical part. South Korean institutions are ahead of the level in terms of the nuclear medicine quality care. So they can do that. But and then what about the Middle East? Middle East has just organized their own the federation. So that might be a good addition. Okay.
Thank you. So that's probably a good note to wrap up this webinar on, that by bringing in the international, the global perspective. I mean, obviously we're talking mostly tonight about, or this afternoon, it's me, it's tonight, but for you, it's this afternoon, talking about Southeast Asia and North Asia. But obviously we're all part of a large global network. And I think that the work that was been discussed today in the three presentations, the sort of the intelligent medical platform that Dr. Kang was talking about, leading edge technology like nuclear medicine, and as well the sort of the basics, getting back to the basics, I think to some extent with TEMDEC, that's what has always attracted me about their work also, is it's really getting out to the small hospitals and the doctors. So it's a very good sort of overview here today. So I would like to thank everybody for their time and presentation today, and a very interesting conversation. It's been a pleasure listening to you all, and I'm certainly looking forward to hearing more in the future. Eunjun, I'm just going to hand back to you, because I know that you always like to have the last word in these sessions. So maybe I could just pass back to you and you could say a few final words.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sahara and all speakers. TEN Network has been dedicated for development of telemedicine for more than a decade, and it is now being used for a wide range of medical collaborations. Today's program and discussions have demonstrated not only benefit of Asia Connect, but also our future directions using cutting-edge technologies in medical area. Thank you very much, Mr. Douglas Hare, Professor Son Mu-gang, Dr. Dong-Soo Lee, Dr. Min-Seok Seo, and Dr. Tomohiko Moriyama. On behalf of TEN StarCC and our community, I give our sincere thanks to all speakers and your teams. This is a short acknowledgement. TEN-CC will continue this webinar series with different topics. The next webinar is planned in December this year. The new program and schedule will be announced via Facebook page and our website. Also, today's webinar recording will be available on Asia Connect YouTube channel and also website. We are looking forward to seeing you all again. See you next webinar series in December.